gained 10 pounds eating the red and the green M&Ms, bro. So, so quick, I'll chop it up today. How you brothers been for the week, man?
Oh, we've been good, man. Been good.
Yeah.
We can't ignore the ratings. I mean, this light skin thing is working for me and Derik.
I heard it. Where do we start?
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another week of Let's Chop It Up. Please follow, like, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make comments. We love the comments. We always get back at you. Good to back. We love them all. So, brothers, how was your week? Let's talk about my man Derik. How was your week, brother, since last time I spoke to you?
Hey, man, wonderful. I can't really complain, man. It's been hot as all hell, though, man. But other than that, it's all good, man. Had a nice little date night, me and the wife the other night. Found a nice little spot out here in Freeport, sunny Freeport, and we had a good time, man. Ran into a couple friends of ours, and it was a nice little evening out for us, man. We had a nice little date night, which doesn't happen that often. So I'm looking forward to that, man. So I'm looking forward to doing that again and reconnecting with some friends, some old friends that I met there that night. So all in all, man, pretty good week, man. Pretty good.
That's what's up. Rodney, how was your week, my brother?
My week was pretty good. I mean, just like Derik, me and my wife had a date night too. We went out, saw a little comedy show out in Nyack. Yeah, saw the New York Kings of Comedy.
Oh, Talenter.
Yeah,
that's good.
Rob Stapleton. Yeah, they killed. It was definitely a good night out. Had fun. I recommend the couples that every now and then y'all take some time aside to spend some time with each other. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, my girls are still playing softball. We discovered something about one of my daughters by playing softball.
What's that?
She's amazingly fast.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are looking into now track for her when school starts back up. I never realized that she was that fast.
Nice. Tell her don't smoke weed before event.
I think I'm gonna tell her that. Yeah. I think I'm gonna
sound advice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. But other than that, everything's good. Everybody's healthy. Nothing to complain about.
Now the birthday boy, our boy Kelvin.
What up?
Happy birthday to you, my brother. Happy birthday to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Today has been a great birthday. I thought about my parents who I no longer have, man. And so I think back to everything they did for me and the foundation. And I hope, as one of my friends said, that they're very proud of the man I've become. So I'm thankful for that. So thank you guys, and thank everybody that's watching. I also want to say, look, there's I got to be the person that just has to bring it up. This is about the natives, and this is what we got to do. I want to say this. I don't judge anybody or knock anybody for begging for money or soliciting for money. But the other day I'm in Harlem, and there's got to be like an etiquette. They've got to wait till you get out the car when you park to come up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the rule is supposed to be you trying to ask for money and I'm trying to avoid you. But you've got to give me a chance to not come into the store that you're standing in front of. Don't get impatient and come to the passenger side window. The brother comes around talking about, first of all, I want to let you know I'm vaccinated. I'm like, I don't care. If you could do that, you can go collect a job application. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, the week has been good. It's been uneventful, but my birthday, man, has been a blessing. I'm really, really happy to have another year, and I am, gracefully getting older, and I'm not resisting it. So I'm happy, and thank you so much, Marsha. I appreciate it, and thank you to the Let's Chop It Up family, the best podcast in the game.
Facts.
My man.
Yo, I got to give you some advice, Kelvin. Right. First of all, happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
The thing is, the reason why he's got to get you before you get out the car is because most people keep the change in their car.
Oh,
that's why. Because if you close up the car, then you ain't going to give him the change. So
right, that's a good point.
That's just some streetwise shit 101.
That's a good point. I'll be real with you. I gave him 75 cents not to tell me the story. Brother with some change help, and I gave it right to my man, so it worked. It worked.
Yeah, everybody usually keeps changing the cup holder, and he
That's
knows.
true.
Yeah, they do. Yo, I'm telling you, these hustlers,
That's true.
they know every angle, man. They know every.
Yo, you're right, because now nobody carries change around. This motherfucker told me he had Venmo.
That's right.
You on fucking Venmo, and you homeless.
Venmo 35 cents.
Yo, like how the fuck you don't get Venmo? So you had a bank account?
Yo,
man.
That's coming. That's coming. The future is people gonna be begging for cryptocurrency. You'll be able to pay in cryptocurrency.
Damn, begging with technology in your hand. That's some shit. Ain't some shit, man.
Yeah,
man. Crazy, man. But Kelvin, I'm glad you reached another birthday, man.
Yeah,
a lot of brothers didn't reach your age, so you know it's every time we have a birthday, celebrate them big. So,
and I'm very proud of you as well, Kelvin. You know what I mean? Proud of the man you become as well, man.
So, thank you, Derik. Appreciate that, brother.
So are you gonna do the black birthday thing, a week celebration, or month celebration?
Nope, I gotta go to work. Nope.
Okay. and let me ask you this: you're definitely not having a white party, are you?
No, not having.
Okay. Just checking.
No, Rod, I'm having a work party. Apparently, Con Edison they don't care about no birthdays. I found.
Nah, they don't care. They cut your shit off.
Oh, hilarious, man! My week, man. I'm just realizing I'm getting old, man. My knees ain't feeling the same this week, man. It's horrible. That's the only thing I got going on for this week. I have a brace on under this table right now.
Wow.
I mean, you're a trooper though, dude.
It's horrible, man. Bad week, man. But let's get to the chop it up. What's on the block this time? So we got the Haiti's president allegedly killed by a foreigner. So I think the doctor in Florida was one of the leaders in this coup, assassination, because they killed him and shot his wife. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, they say they tracing a lot of things back to America. I think that's one of them.
See, this sounds like some CIA type of stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I think the thing that Haiti needs to watch out for, man, is help from America. You know what I mean? Every time there's a upset, it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna send in the troops, to help them out. I think Haiti needs to try to get it under control themselves. You know what I mean? We start sending people in. I can't think of a place where we sent troops in and things wound up better. So
I think Biden said he wasn't sending the troops though, right?
No, things wound up better. They wound up better for America.
But enough now.
I thought Biden wasn't sending anybody over. One thing they said was the FBI help for the investigation.
I think so too. Yeah,
I think he's not sending any troops over there.
I know that's Haitian. It's kind of weird from the outside. I don't know how to feel. Part of you feels like, hey, a person lost their life. And then the other part of you feels like the people that are from this country felt so comfortable about, the guy not being in power anymore for whatever reason. So I didn't want to say much on it because I didn't want to disrespect anybody. This is somebody's family, but at the same time, the people just were like, they could. But like this man's legacy is definitely in trouble. I'll say it like that.
Nothing happened to his security detail. What happened to the security detail? You didn't hear anything about this. Some 20-something people, from what I understand, stormed the place. Nothing happened to the security. So that's a very strange thing. You know what I mean? I think it's an inside job, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
From what I understand, a lot of people believe in on both sides. Like some people are upset about it. Some saying it was wrong because they saying that this guy was one of the presidents. He didn't want the vaccines to come to this country. Also, he was trying to go back to the original rules of Haiti back to 1804 when it said no white people will own any land in Haiti. Only the African descendants, only the owners of land. So it was a lot of stuff going on. The Chinese over there putting all that rice and forcing the Haitian rice farmers to buy from them and take from them. So it's a lot of stuff going on. It's a big mess. I can see how the CIA playing it. I can see why some people hate him. I see why some people love him. But it's a damn shame that this man had to lose his life though at 50-something years old. So I said he didn't want to leave. And the guy in Florida's claiming that he only wanted him to leave. He didn't want him to get assassinated. He wanted to remove him. You don't send killers to play patty cake. Killers do
exactly.
They do. You know what I'm saying? They are hammers and you are nails. That's all they know to do is knock it into the wood. So I don't know that didn't make any kind of sense. And the guy was talking greasy about him on past posts. They were showing all those other videos before that he was talking about this president and stuff like that. So I don't know.
You know,
we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Let's see what the power vacuum looks like, man. That's the thing, man.
Yeah. So next on the chopping block, Chicago mayor asked Joe Biden for help after deadly 4th of July weekend, and Eric Adams went with Biden. Thoughts, gentlemen? Chicago's been a mess.
Yeah, Biden looks like to me like he's saying, "Where's my bulletproof vest? You know I'm out here now." It's crazy out here.
She got the hammer on her.
Yeah. I mean, they supposedly broke a record compared to last year. I think it went from 103 murders in the first 6 months to 108 murders in the first 6 months of the year. That's
Wait, hold on. You must mean the first 6 weeks.
No, first 6 months, I think it is.
I thought they had like 100.
No, we're at 1,000 in New York.
Yeah, I think it was
but they broke a record for their play.
You mean for the 4th of July weekend? You mean
for the 4th of July weekend?
Oh, okay.
For the weekend. For the weekend.
I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I just caught that. Over 100 people died in a weekend.
Shot.
Yeah,
everybody died. They got shot.
100 people shot in a week. That's still fine, man.
We right with them though. I mean, we getting close.
Oh yeah.
I mean, New York is already at 1,000 shootings in July.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just unbelievable to just see. And I've always believed this. I believe that this country could do something about guns, and this country could do something about drugs. This country could do something about those pressing issues. Those things are able to happen because it benefits somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, like they used to say back in the day, that there's a time you couldn't get a Cuban cigar in here if they didn't want you to.
But you get some guns in here, though.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. You know, and it's Wild West. And I think Rod mentioned it before, how the cops had pretty much in New York just basically been standing on the sidelines. You know,
they pulled back. It's not even actually just in New York.
Across the board, across the country.
It's across the country. Law enforcement is at they're at a low rate right now. Most of the states are having trouble even hiring cops. Most states had massive retirements. So we're like undermanned. Most of the average police department is undermanned right now. So they don't have the cops to put out on the street. People basically did a mass exit if you were able to retire. And then some people that wasn't feeling it, they resigned. So they never had anything like this before.
Let me ask you a question, Rod. Each precinct, you know, their numbers, I'm sure, are, you know, they have to, I guess you got to try to get the numbers down in your precinct, right?
Correct.
And so what do you think that will mean for Eric Adams to potentially be the mayor of New York? What do you think that will mean for law enforcement?
I think as far as the department is concerned, I think he's definitely going to do some changes within the department, the way the department runs. The other thing is too, Eric Adams is going to have to be tough on crime. And one of the first things he's going to have to address is the amount of guns that's in New York City. So that's the first thing. They're going to have to, I think they were talking about creating some task force with Biden to basically find out where all these guns are coming from and how they're getting in here. You know what I'm saying? They know how they're getting in here. You know what I'm saying? And those guns been getting into the black community for years. I mean, I've been retired 6 years, and they were getting into New York City when I was on the job. So that's the thing. It's a lot of money in gun sales. You know what I'm saying? Illegal gun sales, especially.
Oh yeah.
You know? But they have to find out. They got to put a stop to where all these guns are coming from. That's what they got to do.
Well, it's so much money because you think about like a legit gun owners, right? I could tell people, you buy a case of 1,000 rounds of 9mm bullets. They can sell a case now $600 on a discount. Imagine what they sell for in the street now, because you got a legit person go buy 1,000 rounds for $600, and you can sell in the street. You probably double that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't buy ammo in New York. I mean, you can, but you can't, if you know what I mean.
So, reminds me of that old skit. Was it Chris Rock or somebody said, don't make
the bullet.
Don't worry about the guns. Yeah.
Make it $10,000. Yeah, make the price of the bullet $10,000 a bullet.
Yeah.
And one thing what Eric Adams said, he said, it's not the AR-15s, it's the handguns that's causing more of these crimes and deaths. Correct. People keep focusing on this AR because that's the big thing to say in television. But it's the handguns. You're talking about the 38s, the 9mm, the 40 cals. Those things are really ones that are causing all the harm in the murders in the United States, especially in New York City.
Absolutely, because those are the guns you can conceal.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to me, what's crazy? It's not like it's robberies. It's not like it's on the corner crack sales. It's like somebody didn't let somebody into a house party and they got upset and came back and just let off. Like that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we're seeing gun violence, like people are doing hits on each other at like 17, 15, 14 years old are doing this. This is insane.
And
you know what I mean?
And the time of day.
And out in the broad daylight, nobody cares.
Times Square. Yeah. I never thought. I thought it would be one of the most safest places in New York if you're going to be someplace. Mm-hmm. That is the scariest place to be now. They on site. They don't care who's around. Babies, kids, no code. They shoot. You know, and I saw a guy today from the Bronx. He was showing it. He just got shot the other day. Older man. He's like, yo, it's like walking on a landmine around my neighborhood. You don't know what block they're on. There he is.
Here come my man.
There he is. He about to do a drive-by right now.
Yeah, he's going to do a drive-by right to the refrigerator and get a sandwich.
Hey, listen, man. I think what it is, man. We got to watch out for, man, is the desensitization of our kids. You know what I mean? And you know, when it comes to violence and all this other stuff, and you know, then you add on, you know, the plentiful nature of just, it seems like they're giving out guns now like Skittles or something. You know what I mean? So, I think we got a real issue on our hands. I am from Long Island. That is some New York City stuff right there. But you know, Long Island always seems like they're 5 minutes behind the city and everything. Whatever, you know what I mean? If New York City catches a cold, it seems like, well, we got to get a cold too. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So I hope they get it settled out there, because we got a lot of the same issues out here, man. And I'm really watching. I got 3 boys that I got to look out for, man.
No question. But like I said, they could do something about it if they wanted to do something about it.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line. And then what happens is, as it starts to affect other communities, because that's the issue when it starts to bleed out into other places. So now you got Times Square, like Derik, like D said, Times Square is not safe. That's the heart of tourism in New York. And you can't protect tourism, and we need that money to come into this city. They're gonna make sure. So now they're talking about task force and doubling up with in Times Square, because you got to secure places. You can't protect women and children. You have no society.
That's right.
That's true.
See, the thing is, 2 things. They have to stop. They have to change the way the policing are doing when it comes to guns. You got to focus more on the source of where the guns are coming from, instead of start just maybe taking guns one at a time off the streets. You know what I'm saying? You're focused on maybe like catching a guy with a gun in his waistband and stuff like that. You got to get a little deeper now. You can't do it one at a time. You got to do it 60 at a time. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically finding the source. The other thing that's contributing to this gun violence is because the gang culture is getting bigger. You know what I mean? These young kids are joining gangs. That's what the thing is. And you know, when I was a kid, like, sports was the thing. Now it's cooler to be in a gang than it is to be on the basketball or the football team. You know.
Yep. Another news: Pfizer says it's time for COVID booster. However, the FDA and the CDC says not so fast. Thoughts?
Okay. Well, the last booster shot I got, I was 4 years old, and they had to give me a shot in a place that I don't believe you're supposed to get a shot. I remember that being 4 years old. I promise God, never again. So I want to tell you, if we have to get that shot, I can't do it. I've done my part. I've done enough. So that's it. I can't help them. So I got to go out there with a mask and take my chances, because I had enough. You know what I'm saying?
Man, Pfizer's trying to run up. Sound like Pfizer's trying to run up the till, man. You know what I mean? They're trying to run out the clock, man. They're like, okay, you know, time for a booster, and we're gonna get a booster every year, man. They just gonna have the CDC or whoever just have us over a barrel. So, and people just are gonna be over the barrel, and the nation is just supposed to keep paying for it. I don't know how that works. I guess they probably get. I think they probably have a government contract or something like that, and that's how they get paid. But you know, yeah. So I guess CDC and all of them are like, listen, man, we can't keep doing this every year. It's costly or whatever. And I don't know what the plan is, man. I really don't know what the plan is.
But the data doesn't show that the data is not showing that they need. That's why
we need the booster shot. It's not showing that we need the booster shot.
All right.
But I think the bigger problem is having this discussion openly it gives a lot of people doubt, a lot of people pause. You had people that were not interested in this in the first place. People didn't think it was necessary in the first place. And now they look like they messed up. And so if it looks like those of us who have taken it are guinea pigs, then it justifies a lot of people not taking it. And to me, it looks like poor leadership. It looks like a poor rollout. And it's given a lot of people pause to think about why they should or shouldn't have taken it in the first place. And that's the problem. So this looks really, really bad because that's why people took a wait and see approach. Because they're like, y'all don't know enough. And if you knew enough, then you projected this from the beginning. And since you didn't, you can't just experiment on me. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people, it looks bad. It really looks bad. And I'm a person that has taken it, and I know it looks bad. So what I do, and I said this from the beginning, people that didn't take it, I didn't condemn them or knock them because I totally understand. And people like me that did take it, I took it because I knew, the places I work, it was going to be required and the things that I have to do. So I knew what it was. And it looks bad because people feel like it was forced and rushed. And so I understand it. So if I'm not here for the next birthday, then y'all go and represent and let them know I wasn't no punk, though.
Went out with the boots on. That's right, man. I hear you.
No, I respect what you just now said, Kelvin. The thing is, like, this, I mean, let's be open, like you just said. Like, how can you not look at this and say, I have major concerns?
Right.
I have major concerns.
Right.
So now the thing is, you got to look at, like, they put the fear of God in everybody. They made everybody believe if you caught COVID, you were going to die. You know what I'm saying? And that made everybody go out and get vaccinated. You know what I mean? And, when you really look at the numbers don't add up to where that everybody that got it was going to die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You had, I think the last time I looked, you had 500,000 people that died from it. And I'm not downplaying 500,000 people dying because that's a lot. But when you look at how many people had it, which I think at the last time I looked, it was over 38 million. That's less than 1%.
Right.
So it wasn't as deadly as everybody tried, as the media tried to push on everybody to run out and get vaccine.
Right.
Now, the thing is, we are talking about 4 publicly traded companies: Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and AstraZeneca, right? So here's the thing, right?
He's in those 600K.
Okay, 600K is still less than 1%. Still less than 1%. So the bottom line is this: they kept telling everybody how many people died, but they're not emphasizing how many people survived or basically got it and didn't even feel that they had it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's my issue with it. Like they put fear into public, and people ran out there because they were afraid and they took the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Now back to the 3 publicly traded companies, right? Now, Johnson & Johnson, they fucked up baby powder, right? They fucked up baby powder.
They gave me a rash. They
gave some people more than that. It gave them cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, they lied that it wasn't baby powder for years before they got to the point where they had to admit that it was the baby powder. You got to look, if you remember back in the days, tobacco did the same thing. They lied to you, said, oh, you can't get sick from it. You can't. They hid that for 11 years. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, this thing is about money now. It's not about freaking saving people. It's about making money. And like I said, I'm not trying to play a doctor, and I'm not even trying to play a doctor on TV. But the bottom line, your body fights off certain viruses and flus if you are healthy. People that got really sick from COVID is because they had a vitamin D deficiency, which means their immune system wasn't big. You know what I mean? Wasn't.
Make the same observations. You know what? You know what, Brad? I'm gonna tell you the thing about what frightened me the most about COVID, because the numbers for survivability didn't frighten me. It's just the contagiousness of it. You know what I mean? They just pushed it like the minute you're going to walk outside, you're going to catch COVID.
Correct,
like that.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And
Correct.
just the sheer numbers of that, when you just crunch the numbers of how contagious it was, there's going to be deaths. You know what I mean? That's going to come from that. It's severe sickness. And I get that they wanted to put the stuff out, that they wanted to put it out ASAP. But anything that's that rushed, assuming, of course, that they didn't have any prior knowledge and didn't do any previous research on it, anything that's rushed is not going to come out. The minute you take that, you're automatically a guinea pig. And the fact, and it kind of gave it up early when they said when they started giving it out for free, and then they wanted to do all sorts of follow-up. They told you in the beginning because they wanted to follow up and see how it reacted. So that should let you know off the top you were going to be a guinea pig. And matter of fact, Johnson & Johnson just kind of came out of nowhere with their to speak on them with their vaccine. I've never tried, and like Rodney, I've never trusted them. I think right now they got a recall going on for shampoo right now, Yeah. So I mean, I don't know where they were coming from with their research. Pfizer I could kind of understand. I never heard of Moderna until now.
Until the vaccine.
Yeah. So
this is Derek. This is my position on it, and this is the last I'll say on this. This is what it is to me. When you want to add a booster shot, what I'm saying is if you got the CDC going against what they're recommending, if you got a conflict there, if this is hashed out in the public, it's just going to breed more doubt. So whatever it is, you've got to have a clear, concise path with it and leave it at that. But once you start adding different things or something they're already having a problem with our community taking, now it's just adding to people's uncertainty and apprehension. And so when you want to start rolling this stuff out, music videos are not going to help it. Clever cartoons are not going to help it. Getting celebrity endorsements are not going to help it. People basically are afraid, and I think people are concerned what they put in their body. And so therefore, you've got to actually have one position. And if you don't have it, then people are going to say, I'm apprehensive and I'm sitting out. And that's reality. And plus, as for most people in our community don't always jump for something when it's free. They jump for it when it's exclusive. It's like Jordan's coming out at midnight. There's not a lot of them. Then if you say, well, we're going to make sure y'all get that's
and then we want here go my take on it. I agree with you, Kelvin, wholeheartedly on certain things. Like for a person that had it so bad and still now today, I just came from a pulmonologist today. So I have a different take on it. Like when people you can say 600,000 died, that's 600,000 funerals. Some people have funerals. Okay. Like Brad said, until you go to a funeral, till you experience. I think people that have experienced have a different take. I understand the money grab. I said it from the jump, even in our group text. It's a money grab for me for Pfizer. However, at the time, what I had to take, I had to think about other family members. My mother had breast cancer. Her immune system done. I had to take it for that to make sure if I want to bring that to her. Like now we got this Delta variant that's going around, like sticking out. Chicken Wing just lost his partner yesterday. His homeboy died yesterday from the Delta variant of COVID. Wow. In Maryland. So like we just was going through this. So it just to me, when people say certain things, they didn't experience what I experienced. So I said, I don't even argue with you no more. I just don't do it no more because it don't make sense.
No, see, D, totally understand that. But like I said before, it was also about a health issue. The people that didn't do well with it is because they didn't have a high immune system. They had vitamin D deficiencies. So I'm not downplaying people dying, and I didn't downplay 500.
But you can't say only people with vitamin D deficiencies died.
They mostly people that died from it had vitamin D deficiencies, or they had some other ailments. And the other thing, those numbers are not going to be completely accurate because in the last 2 years, everybody died from COVID. If you was in a car accident, you died from COVID. Those numbers are not accurate.
Okay. No, I get it, and I think what you guys are talking about is a little different than adding this last piece to it. That's all I'm saying. Because again, and for everybody at home, we're not offering medical advice. We're
not doctors. We're not telling people what to do. But the bottom line is, if you at this stage already, you either took the vaccine or you didn't.
But at this stage, here come my argument with that. When you say that all the numbers are due. Now I have a friend that owns a funeral home, and Bradley knows the friend that we learned how to swim. Her father taught us how to swim. The thing with also you saying that it was changed. Now she's saying with people that she known that had COVID. The body, when they was in the hospital, family told them when she gets the death certificates, it doesn't say COVID deaths on it. Because know why? It's not because they're not paying money for the COVID funerals anymore. So now they're just writing off for something else because the government don't want to pay for them. So you can say one hand on one thing. This is why all the numbers are high. Then I could go with somebody that's sitting right there that does death every day of her life.
Yeah, Brad. I know some people that died as well. I have family members who had COVID. You know what I mean? And I definitely understand everything that's going on with that. I just noticed that, and one of the things that I look at is I know that we have a government or a system here that never seems to wasted catastrophe. You know what I mean? So, you know, you have this situation that's happening is obviously a health issue. And then people can just and then what happens, I've seen cottage industries almost just pop up around this thing. And I'm just wondering how much of it, you know, obviously it's a potentially life-threatening situation, but then I just also understand how much of that is just magnified, you know, how much of the situation or the concern is just magnified profit, you know. So, you know, that's my largest concern. And, you know, you never really understand, and and when that happens, and when you acknowledge and understand or believe that that's happening, it's kind of natural to wonder, you know, about the seriousness of the situation to begin with, because you don't really know where the whole thing is going, you know. So
I wish I could show you how serious my lungs are. Yeah. I wish I could show you. When people say that, no. When you say it's serious, because everything is not money. Sometimes the shit is real.
No. We're not questioning whether it's real. We're not questioning whether it's real. We know that COVID is real. The issue here is, I was saying that it's not as deadly as they claim it was.
But
put the fear in everybody to run out and get a vaccination.
Even if you live, I'm just trying to tell you how my lungs feel. So who want to be a long hauler and you can't go up a flight of steps?
And we're not in denial that you had COVID.
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying when people say, oh, people live, but how will you live later on?
Well, how will you live later on after taking that vaccine? You don't know that.
No, how you live without it. So you don't know that either.
No, I'm living without it.
No, I'm saying, but you don't know what tomorrow could bring. That's the thing. So when people argue, listen, I'm not arguing about you not taking it or taking it. I'm just saying when people say people that have long hauler issues, you're not taking account of when you say people live without live on. But how your lifestyle is gonna change? That's what you're not factoring in. Yeah, I'm living, but I'm not living how I was living in 2019.
Because
we're not talking about
that's not what we're talking about.
We're not talking about that.
You just said people live. You just said
people did live. People lived and got hurt from it.
I understand that, but how are people living that had the virus?
Okay, now here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. What's in the vaccine? What's in it?
What's in Doritos?
No, what's in I want to listen.
I don't know what's in it.
You don't.
You don't know.
The thing is, that's the problem. You don't know what's in it.
May I ask you a question? How many of y'all know what's in the back of every box of stuff you eat?
No, you don't. No, you have an idea. You have an idea.
You don't. You don't know some of the words. People take shit every day that they don't know what's in it. When you go to the hospital, you get an IV. You don't know what's in it. You don't.
Right. And you know what? You know what this is? This is the thing, right? You take something that's not FDA approved, right? You don't know what's in it, right? And when was the last time that this government or this country did something that was in the benefit of the Black community? Now, I listen to the radio, certain radio station, I'm not going to say who. You play a song, vaccine commercial. You play 2 songs, vaccine commercial. I have never seen anything in my lifetime where this country is jamming something up Black people's ass. I've never seen them looking for our best interests.
But I'll say this is the one thing I will say, and I was telling the dude this. What I will say is, to me, if someone wants to poison us or whatever, it's very easy to do it. They don't.
Yeah, it is very easy to do it.
Right. They don't have to go
make it easier for them to do it.
Right. I mean, you can put it, like I said, you can put it in Hennessy, and everybody had been dead last weekend. I mean, you know what it is. I mean,
but my concern is this, Damar, to speak to your point. When you go to the hospital or you go to a doctor, you get a prescription from the doctor to give you a medicine or something that is meant to, you know, improve your situation. But let's say the medicine has a side effect, right, that you didn't know about, all right, and it causes some harm. You have a system in place where you can sue, right, and you can get at least financial remedy. What is that thing right now? Right now, you're literally putting something into you, right, that's being given out for free. Mm-hmm. You don't know what it is, and you are right now, they're working it out as they go along. If the vaccine that you're given causes you problems later on, all right, what is your remedy? How will you be made whole? You know what I mean? Now, remember, you got the vaccine proactively because you did not want to catch it. You were perfectly healthy up to that point. But now something happens because you took the vaccine. How do you become made whole? How are you made whole after the fact? So that's my major concern. I need to sit back and watch.
Okay, right? let me ask you a question. y'all guys, some of y'all smoke cigars, y'all eat all kind of shit, y'all could get fucked up from it. You know that? So here's the thing. Who are y'all suing from that?
No, if I smoke a cigar, we have plenty of information. We says that nicotine, that the cigar, the tar, will cause lung cancer. That is clearly put out on the label. You are taking a risk. All right. So if you go and you get lung cancer behind that, sorry, you're bad. You don't get to sue anybody. You should have known that. It's not the same thing.
It's the same thing. You just think everything's a risk.
Not the same.
You just say it's a risk.
You just say it's a risk. So here's the thing: if you take something, knowing that there's a risk that something can happen to you, all right, and it happens, then yeah, that's on you. You took a shot. You rolled the dice. You didn't do so well. All right. If you go in and you do something and you don't know that something's bad is going to happen to you, and they tell you that there's going to be a benefit, and you find out that not only can they not protect you, or not only there's a thing that they say that it's going to help you with, it doesn't help you with, but it also causes a harm to you, then that's their bad. You didn't know. All right. But now I understand in the situation that we're in, sometimes, listen, this was a health thing and we needed to get things back to normal. People were afraid because I always said the real virus was fear, right? So we had to kind of get that under control. We needed to give people hope, and we put the virus out. And in that regard, it did help. All right. It helped us as a people. It helped us as a country. You know what I mean? Just to kind of calm things down. We gave us hope. Sometimes that's what you need. But in the meantime, you still have to collect this information. We're still collecting information on this.
I just think the reality of it is this. Like I said, and I've been like this from the beginning. People that didn't take it, I didn't knock them. I understand.
I don't care.
I wasn't. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't. I think D looks at it like people dismissive over. You know.
No.
No. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general. That's what it has been. It has been one side has been like if you took it, you know, you're being duped, and the other side is like if you didn't take it, you're letting everybody down. I just said everybody has to come to that realization themselves.
Kelvin, it was also designed to divide us because people were doing that. People were saying if you didn't take it, that's what I'm saying. It was designed to divide us, just like it was designed to put fear into people for them to run out and get it. Like I said, I've never seen anything in this country that basically forced something on us. When did they ever care about our well-being? When?
Like me, I'm not a meat eater anymore, right? But I'm never the person that goes to an event like, you shouldn't be having that because that stuff, it would irritate me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it is. But I understand exactly what you all are saying, and I think you make some.
And the thing is too, the vaccine doesn't stop people from getting it. It doesn't stop people even from transmitting it either.
Right.
It doesn't. It just stops you from having symptoms from it. That's what it does.
Well, on a lighter note, the boys from New Orleans, Vax That Ass Up song.
Vax that thing up.
Wow.
Yeah, Manny Fresh still looks like an AG, aggressive.
Did they announce if they took the vaccine?
I have no idea.
Yeah, they should announce the check that they got for it though.
Right, they took that check.
Yeah, they took that check though.
You know what? Let me tell you something. When I was at St. John's University, I brought this up in a marketing class. I'm sick of every time they want to present something to black people, there got to be a beat behind it. I'm just tired of every time somebody got to speak to us. I'm talking about a Burger King commercial, got to have somebody breakdancing. Like, I'm just always tired of that. And that, that is aggravating. But
the thing is, video. They put that out strictly for what? For who? The black community, right? Because they feel we don't understand anything that has to do, unless it has to do with hip hop or diamonds or bling. Right. Look at that logo. Look at that logo. Put it back up there, Jamie.
Yeah,
Look at that. It's got bling all over it. It's got speakers. It's got a fancy car with rims. All this stuff, dudes with chains on it. It's insulting. It's insulting.
Hey man, it's promotion. Somebody out there might get vaccinated just because. If you can look at that and see it that it's insulting, then it's not for you. It's for people who don't see it, and it might help them. You know what I mean?
I have to admit, if you get a vaccination because you heard this song, they should take that microphone and beat you with it.
Oh, hilarious! That's hilarious, man.
Oh man.
And in other news,
they should be ashamed of themselves.
In other news, black farmers. If you don't know, now you know. So black farmers have been shortchanged in America over the last centuries, centuries. And they're on the protest. They're trying to get Biden to say, listen, man, there's a lot of things, 40 acres a mule type of thing, and they've been in shortchanged for over 100 years, and these predatory loans, or not getting loans at all, or taking too long for the loans to come through. As white farmers are now getting mad that black farmers are benefiting from a program they're trying to get. So,
right.
Thoughts?
I think whenever you have preferential treatment, you don't understand any other position. And forever, this community has had preferential treatment. And just to see somebody get some aid is disturbing to them. I mean, it is unbelievable. I cannot believe how insensitive they are to the plight of black farmers and black business people, period. How far down we were. Even if someone even suggests something that would make the playing field close to level. And that's all we're really talking about here. It's not like black farmers are given benefits over everybody else. But I'm listening to the videos and reading stories about how white people are saying you shouldn't get treatment, fair treatment, or preferential treatment because of the way you look, when our entire society has been based on that and the opposite. And that is just so ridiculous. You know what I mean? I'm glad somebody did something for black farmers, because black farmers just about extinct anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole purpose. That's why they didn't want them to get a bailout, because they wanted them to be extinct. That's why.
Yeah, they want it's a land grab. It comes down to a land grab, and you can't get the loans to pay for your seed. And I'm a family. Between both my families, we own 200 acres worth of land in North Carolina, right? And so I know this process, this sharecropping thing. This is like in my Uncle Sambo that just died. He ran pigs. So
he's not Uncle Sambo.
Oh, man, love him, man. I miss him, man. He has great stories. But anyway, so the loans, like sometimes for black farmers, had to wait 380 days to get a loan and get shortchanged on the loan with a high interest rate. And the land would get snatched when they couldn't pay back that loan. And then I look at these white farmers when they had this dumbass Donald Trump as president. When he cut off those ties to Cuba, those milk cows, that give milk. We sell a lot of powdered milk to Cuba, Michigan, Delaware. I can name Pennsylvania, all the states. They cut off their nose to spite their face, and now they're mad they have no place to send this product. Same thing when they did with China. They fucked them own selves. The white farmers did their own self. But also the market would be better when you have, for the consumer, if you have more people producing stuff, the consumers benefit from it. We'll keep on buying, because now if apple's only 10 cents, I'm buying 10 apples instead of buying one apple for $1.50. So it's, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, but there's a long-term, bigger picture that doesn't include you. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. And if we as a people cannot control our food sources, something as fundamental as food. If we can't control or have it in that industry whatsoever, then we can always be put in a subservient position. So you know what I mean? So that's got to be part of it as well.
And let me tell you this, and this is gonna sound like it's unrelated, and may be, but years ago in Queens, and D, I don't know if you experienced this, they started planting trees to make tree line blocks in Queens.
I got that stupid ass trees on the side of my house.
They planted. I didn't know this was possible. The cheapest, most low budget trees you can find. All these trees look like they're on drugs.
These are the stupidest trees. I never had trees on the side of my house. They put these trees up, and they shed in January. In June. I got these little things all over. I'm like, it's June.
I didn't know you could get cheap trees. I'm talking about these are the worst trees I've ever seen in my life. The trees look depressed. They look sad. It's unbelievable. So I know that there's a disparity on the way people plant and the way people farm. And we need as much help as we can get. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Didn't Donald Trump give the farmers a bailout when he was in office?
Absolutely. That's welfare. They gave him food. That's welfare.
Now, see, the thing is I agree 100% with what D just said about the land grab. You know what I'm saying? That's white farmers' opportunity to put black farmers out of business and to take their land. which will give them more profit. For people that don't know, farming is a tremendously lucrative business. Lots of money are made from farming. So the thing is, if you don't have the ability to have that land and keep that land or whatever, that land will make somebody else a multi-million-dollar person.
Yep. And let me tell you what, when you say that, like, right, I'm gonna give people hip on something. Hemp was the #1 product grown in America before cotton. Black farmers grew more hemp than cotton. And now think about what you can do with hemp. Hemp you can make this table on. You can make so many things with hemp. So when they outlawed the marijuana, right? So now you took away all the black hemp farmers. They had to change it to another product. But now they're competing against white boys with all this bullshit cotton and shit. So the same thing now. Now think about, Rob, we always talk about how the marijuana laws have changed. Now today on the news, talking about federal marijuana laws might change. Imagine grabbing all that land from them black farmers and you can grow hemp. And you can grow hemp.
Correct. And then the thing is too, like I saw the video, and they make it seem like, oh, they're going to get privilege because of the color of their skin. Isn't that what white people did for throughout history? To today. So the thing is, like, I love how they do this thing where they make it seem like, you know, minorities will benefit from the color of their skin. You know what I'm saying? White people have been doing that from the beginning of time. It's amazing how they do it. But like I said, it's just a narrative. It's just to get other people riled up, get white people riled up, and say that we're in a place where, guess what, we're in danger now because of the color of our skin. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that's about. You know, Fox News just basically doing their little taboo.
Playing the victim, brother.
Yeah, playing the victim.
Yeah.
Trump showed them how to master it. He showed them how to master playing the victim.
But some good news in the pandemic is seeing the largest surge in black-owned businesses in the last 25 years. Gentlemen, weigh in.
Excellent. Excellent time to start a business. Excellent time to start an online business. And those are the businesses that have the lowest entry point, which really sets us up as black people to take advantage of the situation. You know what I mean? We don't need a lot of money to get started. We are able to leverage our existing relationships with people, and make some money. You know, so I've seen a huge surge in online businesses for black people, and as well as other small businesses. So it's been a fantastic time. You know, I've definitely seen it, and I've tried to help as many people as I can in whatever capacity I can help.
I think the internet helps level the playing field. Going direct to consumer is just great. I mean, to have that ability. I mean, you look at you got kids probably becoming millionaires over TikTok and stuff like that, just videos. And I mean, there's one young man, I mean, to me, the video is absolutely nonsensical, but this boy has like 3.5 million subscribers. I mean, you know, so you could, whatever, put like this, you could sell whatever if there's somebody to buy it. If you can find a market for it, then good. And so I think what the pandemic taught people to say is, you know what, first of all, I can't rely on the system like I thought. You know, my brick and mortar may not be there anymore, so I'm gonna have to find something. And it really prompted a lot of people to just try something different because they had no choice. And some people took the time that they had on their hands working from home to actually start researching things that they might want to do. You know, and so you start looking. I mean, what is the thing that invention is like birthed out of necessity or something like that? And so that's what happens. People say, you know what, I'm gonna do something that's different because I have the time to do it, and I may have been laid off. I may not have my restaurant job or my office job. So now, what can I do? You know what I mean? And that's what I think about. This is probably what helped prompt that. And I'm glad. Congratulations on all these business owners.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with what you said, Kelvin. I think that during the shutdown, a lot of people sat home and they said, "What am I going to do now?" Yeah. They realized that, you know, whatever job they had or whatever probably could be gone when they get back or whatever. And they became innovative. They said, "Joe, listen, I'm going to turn my side hustle now into a business." You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we get down. When we get dirty, we got to dust ourselves off and get back into the fight. That's the kind of people we are. Now, you know, the game has changed a lot. Like we said, social media, I think Google, now you can Google black-owned businesses, which that wasn't there before or whatever. And then like myself, as a matter of fact, even me and D, we went to a restaurant and we went to that restaurant to try it. Why? Because it was black owned. So that helped Black-owned business tremendously. A lot of things too. I think a lot of those PPP loans help people say, hey, that already had maybe small Black-owned businesses to be able to expand and make bigger Black-owned business. So I feel that helped. So, you know, it's kind of like when we always talk about reparations, like when you see people got that PPP loan and they use it to make their businesses better or bigger, like majority, that's why if we get reparations, that's what a lot of people are going to do. They're going to expand themselves. Right. You know, that's why they don't want to give it to us.
And the thing with the stats, when they keep saying the unemployment and stuff like that, they don't factor in how many people said, no, fuck you, I'm not going back and work on the plantation no more. I'm gonna go start my own thing. So those stats are not all true. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, look at how many people got involved in the stock market. They sat home and said, man, I got this $1,000. Let me see how I can flip it. And that's when people started being more creative and taking chances and risks because they realized they got nothing to lose. When you lose, nothing to lose. Right. I'm already at the bottom of the bottom and I have no job. Let me just go see what I can do with this. And
that's how we do as Black people. When we're down, we know we got to find a way out. That's what we do. We don't lay down and die. We're people that's been through some of the worst adversities and we still overcome. I mean, look at some of the shit we've been through.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, about Black-owned stuff, Instagram ads and labels of business, Black-owned business profiles option as an option now. So now you can say Black-owned business as an option on Instagram. You know, before, Rob, funny thing you said about Google. Before you used to Google Black stuff, and they would say like a Black mom. They show like some ghetto shit or some other crazy. Now they're gonna change it. I mean, the George Floyd thing last year woke up a lot of people to realize like, hey, these Black people got dollars, and now they protesting with their pockets. Hopefully, except for Gucci. I don't know about Gucci.
And like I said, it's like I said on a previous show, right? As a Black business owner, you have access to the biggest consumer in America, which is Black America. So the thing is, market to your own people. There's nothing wrong with that. White companies have been doing that to us for eons. It's time to turn it around. Time to learn from it.
Get us FUBU, but give you FUBU back. Boys, bias, baby. Now, what else? Oh yeah, sorry. TikTok strikes a highlight issue of what? Oh, composition of the race. The creators. They the conversation about the creators of TikTok. They started making the economics for the Black people. They was like Black TikTokers wasn't getting paid for the dance. They started all the dance trends. What's that lady? Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion dances and all that stuff, and then they was getting disrespected, and the white TikTokers were getting all the money for that. Thoughts?
We've always been leaders in style and fashion and everything. So obviously TikTok was just another outlet, and I think like you said, they were creating this. They were creating the dances and the style, and other people were going on to get money for it. So I think it's important that they start to realize, it's a question of intellectual property. You know what I mean? So who owns it? Who owns the dance? Who owns the song or whatever it is that they created, or the meme or whatever? So I think it's great that that we start to believe and start to think that these people need to start getting paid. Like the person who creates it needs to start getting paid. So I think it's a fantastic thing.
You know what bothers me, Derik, and this is the same thing that we've always dealt with, the same playbook. So what happens is somebody comes up with a platform or a mechanism, and then we wind up doing well at it, and then we're not getting paid for it. Right. Or we'll come up with some idea or some type of trend, and then somebody will create something around that, and they'll put the infrastructure around it, and they'll get paid for it. I keep going back to ownership. So in other words, is there a Black variation of TikTok? If it's not, why not? That's my point. So at a certain point, instead of making everybody else rich, just do it for yourselves. There's enough Black people who are technologically sound enough to come up with their own system. And every single time we come up with something or do something, someone else benefits from it more than us. And we build these brands. We build this stuff.
Correct. We're innovators. We're trendsetters. And the thing is,
not owners.
Correct. The thing is with the TikTok thing is that people.
You're right, Tiger. Word. No, sorry, Rob.
Yeah, no, it's all right. The thing is that you come out with something that goes viral as a Black person, right? But then somebody with a bigger following takes it, copies it, and then they make it even bigger. That's what the problem is.
Right.
So now I don't know if you're able to like copyright or trademark like a dance or something like that, because that's a lot of the issues. Matter of fact, you guys remember when Michael Jackson moonwalked on TV for the first time?
Yeah.
Okay, and then people were saying Michael Jackson invented the moonwalk, which wasn't true. He did not invent the moonwalk.
Right.
Break dancers and all of them invented the moonwalk.
Yeah.
Correct. But that's exactly what's happening on TikTok, because Michael Jackson had a gigantic platform. He can reach more people, and they're seeing it for the first time. And then guess what? Michael Jackson gets paid for it, and he gets credit for inventing the moonwalk, which is not true. And that's what's happening here on TikTok. You got a young lady who invents a dance, right? And then all of a sudden, a guy with 1 million followers, he goes and does the dance. And guess what? The guy with the 1 million followers gets credit for inventing it. Yep. So the thing is, they got to find some way to basically where you can maybe trademark or copyright or what have you this content, so that this doesn't keep happening. Because like I said, we're innovators. We started, and basically they finish it and they profit from it.
So can we pull back from it? That's my question.
That's what the people are saying. They're not doing the
videos. They're not doing the dance.
They're not going to do the dances. They're not going to do that. So TikTok's got to find out a way. So you got to look at it like this. The only way I kind of think you're going to be able to do it is if I do a dance today, they got to timestamp it for it being the first time it's ever been put up there. And then if Johnny Smo with 60 million followers does it, he can't get credit for it. And if he makes money, he got to break me off that cheese because I put it up first. That's the only way I think you kind of can do it. But that's what's happening. They can't
do it because if you remember,
they absolutely can do it. They can do anything.
Right. There was a time when there was a lot of people, writers, I think, went to war with YouTube. And they wanted to make sure from these shows that the writers, anything that was paid, I don't care if you looked at Letterman on YouTube, if you looked at his show, the writers like, we want a percentage of that. And they wound up, remember they had the big writer's strike?
Yep.
Yeah.
None of them had writers. This is what the same thing. Same thing. You've got to make sure that you can leverage your position. And that's what I think they're going to do.
And I'm going to give you another example. Like, boxing's been around, but now the Pauls are going to come and steal boxing, and they're going to make more money from it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
And boxing will die. Right,
and it will. It will die.
It will die.
Dying already.
It will die.
He's fighting Tyron Woodley, right?
Who?
I think Jake Paul.
Yeah, then he want to fight what's the guy named? The rapper.
The Game, yeah. He wants to fight the Game. I don't think the Game is going to fight him. That would be too much for Game to lose. But the thing is, like, they're going to be able to control boxing because they can put so many asses in the seats. It's about followers.
Think about this right now. No, you're right, Rock. Here, think about this. Tristan Thompson and Lamar Odom are beefing right now. Them two throwing some gloves. Ain't nobody going to see go watch Carnello, whatever them to fight. The other guys.
Carnello.
Nobody going to watch none of them.
Yeah, because they got
a bigger following.
Correct.
That's nobody.
I'm sorry. That's what's going to happen.
But that's well, you know, that it's the marketplace ideas, man. It's the you know, they're fighting for eyeballs. It's not there. It comes down to the promoter. You know, you got to get yourself a good promoter and who has the best promotion.
I don't care if you have anybody's promoting boxing right now. If these star athletes, people with bigger platform, 3 million followers, they will destroy the boxing industry. Because they have a bigger platform to reach other people. They're going to come back from that. But anyhow, we got to go to commercial break. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
What's happening?
Yeah. What am I about to say? Up next on the agenda, the turkey leg hut responds to the black community being overdressed. They're not being underdressed. They want people to be dressed up. Sorry. For people who don't know, in Houston, there's a place called the Turkey Hut. They make the best turkey legs known to man, they say. I've seen the commercials and all that stuff, and we all seen it, where they could shake the turkey leg and the meat fall right off the bone. They stuff them. My niece was there. You can get crawfish, you get mac and cheese, you get collard greens inside these turkey legs, all type of stuff inside of them. But they want to have people dress up because people come in wearing slippers, bonnets,
they want a dress code. They want a dress code.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I did a little research on the place. I think it looks like a nice place, and you can see clearly that they put a lot of bread into that place.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an outdoors section, indoor section. It's designed to be able to accommodate a lot of people. So if they want to put a dress code on there where people not coming in there looking crazy or what have you, me personally, I don't think that's a problem. I really don't. He's trying to keep a certain type of credibility to the place. I don't disagree with what he's doing.
No, I think it's every business's right to want to protect its brand. You know what I mean? It
correct.
wants to be a more upscale. It's the same reason you go to certain restaurants, they have a dress code. You know what I mean? Some you have to wear a jacket, some wear, or whatever. So some you have to wear, shoes. It's the same. It's no different. So I think that they're well within their rights to keep it going, like to institute that in their business, and they're wise to do it as well. You know what I mean? So so kudos to them.
There's businesses that require you to wear a jacket in the restaurant. Yeah. We don't say nothing about that. You have to wear a sports coat or a suit jacket. We don't say nothing about that.
And if you know that you have to go to that restaurant and you can't get in there without a jacket, guess what? Go back and get a jacket.
Go back and get a jacket, or take your ass home.
Or exactly. Go home.
Right. And I think that a standard is good. I remember being at Virginia Union University, and one morning, I can't front, it got cold in Virginia. I had no jacket. I went and took my bathrobe, like my, and I took it to the where we go eat at. The lady's like, "Go home. You can't come here with that." The lady's like, "You're not coming in here with no robe on to have breakfast." And I respect that, and I understand that, and that's how these people are, and I get it. It's an establishment, and when you go out to the public, there should be some type of code of conduct or some decorum, even if you don't understand it. If you don't know, now you know.
Correct.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I don't understand the backlash from our own people. Like, why do we always have to have a lower standard for stuff that we put our money into? Like Rod said, they probably dropped $1 million into that joint.
Dude, they put some heavy bread into
that thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be a star, and then so also people saying they have family. So if I come there with my kids, I don't want to see titties hanging out. You know what I'm saying? Right. Underwear showing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see none of that stuff.
And you don't want to see somebody jump on a table and start twerking. You don't want to see that when you're there with your family.
And not for nothing, natives act better when they are dressed up.
No, listen, you got your hard shoes on, man. You're looking good. You're smelling good. Absolutely. You're not trying to rustle and tussle with people. In our older generation, they used to get dressed up just to go to the store. You know what I mean? So your grandfathers and all of them, your grandmothers, we need, I say we got to go back to that, but
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think we stopped having that pride as a people? Why do you think that? And when do you think it started?
I think the influence of more of the gangster rap type of stuff started influencing. Like the more the jail look, more when white people started owning our imaging, like what I'm saying, like when they're owning our networks and making it look sloppy and stuff like that. I think that look, like that agenda was pushed so hard that we didn't give a damn no more.
That was our generation. That was our generation. That was us, man.
There's no more big mamas.
Yeah, well,
Big Mama's gone.
We gotta that was our generation, man.
Big Mama's 35 years old now. That's what the problem is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me say this to Fuquanda out there before you go in the chat and comment and all that stuff like that. Yes, we mean it. That's the truth. Yeah, we have to realize that once the Temptations and stuff left the stage, it wearing backward baseball hats and stuff hit the stage, yes, socially things did change. So that's part of it. And we're not saying rap created it. I'm just saying it became part of the culture to have urban attire, and that was probably the catalyst. And yes, Fuquanda, go ahead and write it in the comments. I just want you to know in advance, so I don't have to explain it later.
Nah, the thing is, we shouldn't be getting sensitive just because a black-owned businesses require a dress code. You know, you can go to somewhere else like a club and they'll tell you what to wear in a minute, and you ain't got no problem with it.
Yeah, right about that. So,
you know, we got to take it back, man. That's all I'm saying. We got to take it back. You know, I think a lot of this stuff really did happen with our generation when we were growing up. You know, we got a little loose with it, and now we have to bring it back. You know, it's going to be our generation that has to speak up and say something and change things back, man. That's what
I just want to say one thing. Them turkey legs look so goddamn good, I wear whatever they say. That's how good them turkey legs look to me.
My niece Brittany went there. She went there about 2 weeks ago. She said it's everything they said it is.
Wow.
It's like that. She said she would definitely go back. She said you would try to, they can stuff it with anything. You try to get less stuff because you get too full. And she said when you shake it, it does fall off.
Wow. Yeah, I'm up in there.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm up in there.
Yeah.
You got to go all the way down to Texas to get it, though?
Yeah, Houston, Texas.
Just going like a 4-day day trip.
I'm going to Houston in 2 weeks. I'm bringing y'all that stuff back.
It's probably going to be bad by the time you get there.
Hold on. Kelvin, do not get on the plane and be one of them black people eating turkey legs. Don't be that dude. Do not set us back 50 to 75 years. Please don't do that shit.
Yo, Kelvin gonna have the whole plane smelling like turkey legs and turkey wings.
Oh my God, this motherfucker gonna bring Thanksgiving onto Delta. Now you can get away with that shit on Spirit.
Yeah. No, Spirit is already on there. They got chitlins on Spirit.
Hog mugs and pig feet.
Yeah, they got pig feet, hog mugs, chitlins. They got oxtails on Spirit.
I swear to God, when this podcast jump off, nobody book us on Spirit. I swear to God, we won't show up to you. We're not showing up to your city if you book us on Spirit. Let's get back to TikTok. Black TikTok creator argues against reparations. Jamie, can you play the video that went viral?
A TikTok creator going viral for a video that picks apart the argument for reparations. Listen.
I'm seeing a lot of talk about reparations on TikTok. It's 2021. How are we to determine who gets reparations and who doesn't? Reparations as the first step to healing? The first step to healing is forgiveness.
That video has been viewed over 100,000 times. And joining me now to discuss is the woman who posted it, Savannah Edwards. Savannah, thanks for being here. Why did you choose to make this video?
Why did I choose to make this video? It was kind of heartbreaking to me to see so many people think that in order for us to receive any kind of healing from the past, that we needed financial compensation from the government.
Okay.
So I just wanted to speak out on that.
One of the common refrains in support of reparations was articulated by one Tulsa pastor who writes, quote, "I think we cannot have true reconciliation and healing without reparations. Reparations are a biblical form of reconciliation and healing. I just hope that our elected officials have the courage to do what they know I feel is right." What's a better alternative to reparations in your estimation? Again, you're a follower of Christ. This pastor is a follower of Christ.
I think as a pastor, you're responsible for your flock, your congregation. Your job is to preach the word of God to them. And if you're not preaching that forgiveness is the first step to any kind of healing, you're leading your flock astray. So before we even talk about forcing people who weren't even alive back then to pay for the sins of the dead, we need to start taking care of our own healing. And the first step to that is forgiveness.
Poor misguided soul.
You being nice. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am. I'm being nice.
You're nice.
First of all, reparations is not about healing. It's about compensation. That's what it's about. So she's been misled, and they jumped at the opportunity to put her on that certain news station so that they can push that agenda. They used her, and that's why I say she's a poor misguided soul. She was used.
Yeah. Malcolm X always go find one person. Go find that one black person.
Well, today you can find a lot. It's more than one.
There's a lot of fake coons.
Basically, it's not about healing. It's about compensation. It's about a group of people, a race of people that were basically taken advantage of, where another race profited as a result of what they did to us. That's what it's about. You know.
Reparations is about being made whole, man. You know what I mean, financially, and and paying back the opportunity cost of slavery. You know what I mean? How do you pay that back? Now, we want to have a conversation about, a salient conversation about how we pay that back. That's something different. But to say that we're just going to table that because we need some healing, because the first step of that is healing. Listen, that's the emotional response to that.
Why do we got to, like, first of the things you said, we got to forgive. Yeah. Why do we always got to be the one to forgive?
I knew D was going to say that. I knew D was going to say that.
Why? No, why do we always have to?
You know what? But I'm with D on that. In other words, nobody tries to undo what was done. Everybody tries to move past what was done. And for somebody to be her age and to be that dismissive, to say the first thing starts with healing. Maybe the first thing starts with healing for you.
Yeah.
Maybe for someone else, it starts with reparations. Maybe someone else says, you know what, it starts with the land that was stolen from my forefathers. You know what I mean? Because, in other words, when I hear people say they want equality, I'm saying, are you willing to give back what you did, what was done to make it unequal? And that's not usually the case. So what everybody wants to do is smooth over it. So I just think this is a young person. Obviously, it makes they love for a black person to get on Fox News. That's why she's on there. Any other position you can't have on there. And so I just think a person is kind of young, dismissive, and ill-informed to just say that across the board. It's no one-stop shop. And I do think this community needs. You don't have to give us reparations. Everything that you took. That's all, because you really can't repair the damage. So why don't you just give back after you took?
And that's one thing else you like. And the way Fox always sets it up, they never have nobody to argue the other side.
Well, they do. That you're right. You're 100% right.
Never do that shit.
And I was just about to say that, D. The thing is, there's a lot of viral videos for reparations. They didn't put any of those on. They only put that girl, that poor misguided soul. On
being nice, you're being nice. You're being nice.
No, I'm being nice. I'm trying to be a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the thing is, they grabbed her up real quick and they said, "Hey, put her on." They're very selective about the message that they send. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell you, they're gonna grab people that look like us to put that message out to say, "Look, even black people don't want reparations." Because white America is in fear of it. They're in fear of us getting to close that wealth gap.
And that's the only message that people. That's the only message, Rodney, that some people want to hear. I never forget. I went and bought and supported a black museum in Houston, and I bought a shirt from them, and the shirt says "All Lives Matter," and then on the back it said "Black Lives Too" or something like that. I regret buying the shirt. I did it because somebody asked me to support the business. Right? I was in your establishment. Was a place called Cracker Barrel. I was down there.
No.
We ain't talking about Cracker Barrel.
Don't try to change the subject, Kelvin.
I don't know who you talking about.
I don't know who you talking about.
That's right, Jamie.
Yeah,
that's right.
With that shirt that says "All Lives Matter." I'm down there with the shirt to say "All Lives Matter." I'm down there with that shirt on. A white man made his way across the restaurant. It was like, "I like your shirt."
Yeah.
I wanted to take that shirt off and burn it because I knew exactly why he liked
it. Correct.
This is some foolishness. So that's what that young lady just did. The same thing. Yeah. She verbally articulated that shirt.
Yeah, she's the worst, man. But anyway, she's not my sister. Y'all can have her. She could belong to the street. She could belong to Billy Bob and them. I don't give a fuck about her.
Well, you see, she had on the checkerboard flannel shirt, right?
Bro, we already know her background. We already know what this. I mean, come on.
You still got to enlighten her, man. But I get you.
Another raccoon.
Yeah. Poor misguided soul.
Mom says her son was attacked and beaten by a belt by a white neighbor. Jamie, do you have a video for that one?
A Carroll County mother says that her 15-year-old son was attacked and beaten with a belt by a man who lives in their neighborhood. Caitlin Ross joins us now with more. Caitlin, home security footage caught the whole thing on camera. I cannot imagine as a parent having to watch that.
The footage is hard to watch, but Malik Sims' mom thinks it's important that people see it. Not only that they see what happened, but see how her son responded to the violence. The video footage is grainy, but the audio is clear as Latika Sims says a 29-year-old man attacked her 15-year-old son.
I was just panicked. Like, I was just like, in 2021, I cannot believe that a fully grown man would think that it was okay to come outside with a belt.
She says her son Malik was playing basketball with his cousins in Villa Rica when their next-door neighbor came outside.
When you see the video, he's running full speed at my son, and my son is caught off guard. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Police say that man is Matt Martell. In a police report, he says he was upset about the kids swearing. In a video, it appears Martell grabs the front of Malik's shirt before the pair go off camera, and you hear a crash.
He was holding me like with his hands on my neck, and he threw me up against the garage, and I hit my head. And
Malik says he was in shock, but knew he didn't want to get in trouble for fighting back.
My son played football. He has played every sport. He is capable of defending himself. But the reality is he knows that he could not defend himself. So he walked away.
Latrika Sims rushed over as fast as she could and called police, but says she still can't understand how this happened.
I worked in child care 15 years. I have had kids say crazy things to me. I have had kids throw things at me. I have never once thought, you know what? Let me take my belt off and beat somebody else's kid.
She wishes the neighbors would have called her if they were concerned about his language. She says there is no excuse for the violence.
I'm gonna let y'all take this one first.
All right, I'm gonna say this. I remember talking. My mother used to, when she grew up, she used to tell me how if she got in trouble in her neighborhood or where she lived, your neighbor had rights to discipline you. All right, you caught one if you got in trouble at school, you got a beating from the teacher, then you might have got a beating from the neighbor, then you might have got one when you got home, and that's because everybody had love for one another. That ain't it. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, this ain't it, because they had all sort of an understanding. Like, that was it. It was a community. Everyone had the same understanding. We were looking out for each other's kids. We would discipline them with love. All right. And there was no, and so much of that is trust. That wasn't it. You know what I mean? He did not have the trust of her to discipline her child. And I'm not even going to talk about whether or not you should be beating your kids at all anyway. That's not even, I'm not even dealing with that.
We got you.
You know what I mean? Right. I'm not even dealing with that. But just the trust aspect was not there. So yes, definitely hands off. And I'm just interested to see what happened when the police were called. What happened after that? So I don't know how far the story goes.
Rodney?
I was hoping you wasn't going to ask me to talk about that.
I'm calling all you guys tonight, baby.
Damon, I think you know me for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine what I would have done?
I know I would have had the bail money though.
Dude, the message would have basically be just call my lawyer.
Yeah.
Let me explain something. There's no excuse for that. There's no justification for that. That man's not that kid's father. If there was a problem, he should have rung the bell and told his mother, listen, the kid is out in the yard talking and he's cursing or whatever, it's inappropriate. But to take out a belt and feel he's going to whip somebody else's child, I'm just gonna end it there. I just know we probably would have to sell the house and move.
Yeah. Kelvin,
I can't front the dudes I grew up with and stuff like that. Like, it wouldn't have been though he was capable of defending himself. They didn't give that dude to work. I can't front. Like, that dude, let me say something. All I needed to be is about 11 or 12, and that guy would have got that work. That's just it.
That's what I'm saying. We were taught, like, you better not, if your brother get beat up, you better not come home or nobody jump
First of all, the man ain't much bigger than the kid. I mean, he is a kid. First of all, you could tell this kid is from a good neighborhood.
Yeah.
His mother did a good job with him. She said my son would know not to disrespect an adult like that. If I came under fire, my father used to be on someone, if I'm not home, you the man in the house. Like, if somebody, if you disrespect my mother and I was 12 or 13, you was gonna have to show me. You was gonna have to show me. So I know that as you hit me with a belt and me in my yard because I said something, we'd have been out there. And it been a grown man wouldn't have mattered to me. It wouldn't. But it'd been worse if my mother had been home, because my mother that came out that house.
Yeah, and also, I go back there. Derik said it right. There's a sense of community. Like, everybody was late. Like, on my block now, we almost like family, like really our family. Like, you know, so and so see you can discipline them. This gives me vibes of overseer. He saw black kids having a good time, and he come out with his whip. Like, you don't say no profanity around here. Who the fuck are you to tell my kid not to curse? Whenever I tell my kid, yeah, you go out there and say any word you want. I don't care about you cursing. As long as I see you playing basketball in front of here, not breaking nobody's windows, doing no other kind of crime. Y'all playing basketball and y'all having cursing amongst your little selves, I wouldn't even give a damn. But you come with overseer vibes. My question is, I wish the kid had I don't know if the kid doesn't have a father in the house or not, but if he does, that man need to put hands on that man. I'm sorry, it's street justice in this one.
No, I was going to say that after you finish. The thing is, I'm going to lean towards it probably is not. Maybe he knows that's a single mother with two kids or whatever.
That's what
because let's take this. Let's be realistic about this. If he knew that there was somebody in that house that was about it, the bottom line is he would have never did that. No. And you won't convince me to believe that he would have still did it. I believe he took advantage because maybe we don't know. Maybe there's just a single mother there raising her sons or whatever. But wherever his father is at, he better put that work in. That's all I got.
If his father's locked up, send somebody.
Yeah, get on the horn, send a kite. You better get it done.
Send a kite, and then
that's right.
It's on.
That's right.
Because everybody in this room is over 6 foot tall. I don't think he would have even came at any of us in it.
And that's what I mean. I don't think that would have really happened. And, you know, he's being a tough guy to a kid, but it's a different.
But it wouldn't happen to those kids in South Jamaica, Queens, though.
No. They know we got in South Jamaica, Queens leading guns.
You said it was a nice. You said it yourself. It was a nice
neighborhood. Nice little cul-de-sac they had there. Yeah, see, when you can leave toys outside like that, ain't nobody robbing. Right. You know that's neighborhood. That's neighborhood. No fireworks. All right, we got here. Okay, off-duty Tennessee officer knocked unconscious over racist remarks. I wish we had the video for this one, but anyway, no. The story was he was at a wedding or something like that. Wedding hall. He came there. He said some, called the man out of his name because some derogatory statements to the guy, and he cashed a check. He was asking, you know,
and like that 2-piece. The 2-piece, right?
He wrote a check. He's asking cash. Boy.
Let me elaborate on what happened. There was a off-duty officer, Tennessee officer, who was basically intoxicated at a wedding reception, and decided he was going to follow a black man to his car. And then tell him he didn't know that they allowed blacks in the reception hall. And then my man gave him the 2-piece, put him to sleep, and that was the wrap. Yep. So now he gave him the grease. He gave him the greasy part of the chicken. He didn't give him the good, the lean chicken. He gave him the greasy.
Gave him the dark meat.
He gave him the dark meat and knocked my man out. And I think he answered him and said, yes, of course they allow black people into the now the question is, what's going to happen to this off-duty officer? Because I look at it like this.
That's a question. Yeah, that's a good question, right? What happened?
The thing, you want me to know what I think's going to happen or what what I believe should happen?
What you think and what should. Do both.
Okay.
Do both.
This is Tennessee, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we
already know. It's already
I forgot. He can walk away clean, and they give him a good old boy pat on the back and send him home.
They may charge a black guy.
The question is, did they charge him or did they not charge him?
No. The guy was waiting for him. He called into the news station trying to see if he had any charges yet pulled against him. That's the last time I read.
Yeah, but the thing is this, right? Me personally, I believe that he should be fired because if you express. Because you got to realize, to some people, alcohol is like truth serum.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. So some people, they tell their true feelings when they're drunk or high.
Yeah.
And basically, he expressed who he really was. So now you can't have a police officer that clearly has a racial incident, and he's expressed his feelings towards black people, and then he goes out into the community, the police. You can't have somebody on the department like that. But this is Tennessee we're talking about here.
Yeah. Yep. So, Jamie, no, I'm gonna let Kelvin do this. No, I'm gonna do it. All right. Next up, San Francisco gay men's choir faces major backlash.
Why you preface this? We're gonna let Kelvin hold up. You talk about the choir part. That's what you're talking about.
Choir, yeah, that was the choir. That's what I'm saying. Let me finish. Let me finish. I only talk about.
All right.
Let me start it over again. San Francisco gay men choir faces major backlash for song "We Coming for Your Children." Jamie, do we have a video for that one? Yes or no?
As we celebrate Pride and the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make them wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
Well, this, first I want to say, it's a parody. Allegedly, they didn't do this with a certain intention.
I'm out of here.
That was actually that's disturbing. I mean, on every level. First of all, the dude that's in it is disturbing. He looks like some type of caricature. Okay, like I mean, that looks disgusting. It just look. And so what I'm saying is, you for that community.
Oh, Kelvin.
That feels that they always back and all stuff like that. This doesn't help.
I want to know, Kelvin. I want you to go back because you
am I slipping? My Wi-Fi slipping?
Yeah, just go back. What you say? That community. I want to make sure everybody hears what you have to say.
I'm saying with that community, you know, to do things like this. First of all, you shouldn't be mentioning children when you're an adult. Period. Whatever your lifestyle is, the things that catch my attention is agenda. And children, agenda and children, and so what I'm saying is this: don't talk about targeting people's children. That is the bottom line. And the other thing is this: if someone is in that lifestyle, that's something they determine, not you. And so this idea of going after somebody's children and converting somebody's children and things like that's my whole point with the whole thing. You know. You're addressing, first of all, oftentimes the heterosexual community. This idea of converting somebody and all that stuff like that. You know, nobody had to convert me to be heterosexual. So as a result, in other words, I am who I am, you know, intrinsically, naturally. So for you to actually go after some type of agenda, something like that, and you're talking about people's children, that's very, very dangerous. Now, when somebody come and slap the pure fire out you, then you're going to say that they're doing it because of you being gay or something like that. And that's why I'm saying, you know, you can't use that as a badge and then use it as a shield at the same time. And so I think that's very, very dangerous, very divisive. And if I had children, in which my nieces and my nephew are like my own children, something like that, somebody come out talking about converting them and stuff like that, it's going to probably be an altercation. And that's just how it's going to work.
See, that's the thing, man. If you're telling jokes, you got to know who you're playing with. You know what I mean? Like, you know, this is the heterosexual community. We already have a hard time figuring out the whole gay LGBTQ thing. You know what I mean? And now one thing we don't play with is our kids. You know, now maybe because you're gay or whatever, maybe we wonder if you have the same mothering and fathering instinct. You know what I mean? And obviously when you're playing around like that, it's not a good look because you don't threaten nobody's kids. You don't play with people's kids. You don't talk about you're going to convert somebody's kids or prime people's kids. You know what I mean? That's what rapists do. They prime the children and all of that, you know, with candy or whatever, little games or whatever. We don't know where you're going with that, man. And that's a bad, bad look right there. So homie needs to really cut it out. It's entertaining. Song, by the way, had a nice little melody and all of that. You know what I mean? Sounded like some you know, I don't know, some hot Broadway thing or whatever. But you know, you know, but you're coming right at the main issue. You know what I mean? You know, you're gonna talk. It's like you're sneaking in the back door with the entertainment and all of that. You're playing around and you're putting your agenda out there. You don't know where that's going. You know, so it's a bad look, man, all the way around. Find another way to play around. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Find another way to play around.
Yeah.
Or another joke. Not that one. That is the one.
Yeah, Rodney?
My Wi-Fi is stuck. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Now, and they said like
yeah, it is. Grooming is real.
Yeah, like it's saying it's a parody to convert the kids to be more tolerant of gay people. It didn't come across like that. And then certain things have subliminal messages, and messages we don't see, and that to kids. I think they could have did it some other kind of way. The lyrics they used was not the way, and like Derik said, you don't try to do things to my kids, and people are gonna be very protective. Now you got the backlash because people not tolerating. Like, nah, you went a little bit too much that time.
What are you advertising for? What do you advertise? What you get? This is a gay advertisement. Like, what are you recruiting? I mean, at the end of the day, do your thing and be done with it. That's you.
Yeah. And I think this generation is coming up is more tolerant or accepting of people's lifestyles. Because I see kids. We have trips, and the kids are cool with the kids that are gay, whatever. The transgender kids, I don't see them getting messed with. Kids gonna tease each other. That's gonna happen. They call fat and all that stuff. They can say gay and all this other stuff. But I think it's more acceptable. Like you got Lil Nas X, one of the #1 rappers, right? You know, all these guys wearing purses nowadays. We went out. How many guys we see wearing these purses now?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a little bit more acceptable. So I don't think. Why do you have to do that song and where you did that song? That's right. What issue I have with it. Like I don't even like seeing I didn't like the BET Awards. I think it was over heterosexual and gay. I think it was just too much. It was just too much. But anyhow. Speaking of people that's in the world that hangs with a lot of trannies and gay people, Wendy Williams, and she talked about this. I think how you pronounce it, Suave. Suave. Swerve. That's his name.
Swerve. Right.
Swerve. This influencer. It was very insensitive remarks she had about his death. This young man lived in Delaware. He got shot and murdered. I think it was last week. And the first thing she said, "Wow, this guy had 2.5 million. What are we gonna do all those followers or some shit like that?" I mean. I'll let you guys go before I get my rant on Wendy Williams' bitch ass. But go ahead. I ain't mean call her bitches being the bitches that whoever from me take it the other way. I call everybody a bitch.
Well, Derik, you gotta Damon, you gotta understand the Wendy Williams vehicle. That's just what it is. It's to incite that feeling that you just had. And of course it is insensitive. Wendy Williams to me is probably, I guess, professionally, maybe at the end of her run, I think we've just about had enough of it. I think it's run its course. And so I think Wendy has to do what she has to do just to stay as relevant as she wants to be or used to be. And I don't think Wendy bases her programming on sensitivity or necessarily decorum or, having some proper treatment of people in the way they feel. Very insensitive to people probably. And that's what it is. And that's why I'm not a fan or a supporter or a watcher of. I don't consume Wendy Williams because it's just, to me, that's what you sign up for, and that's what it's gonna be. To me, is reheated Chinese food in my estimation.
Yeah, the first
no pun intended, no disrespect.
but the first thing she mentions is followers. Like he had more than her on TikTok, but then she said, and the next thing, but I have more than him on Instagram. Like, who says that to a person that just died?
No,
it was a system, and backlash came in left and right. She had to make it up. I think she announced
the guy that works for her in the show, the guy that sits on the side and talks about it. He brought up the point that she has more followers than him on Instagram, and then she said, "Well, a lot of people said Instagram is dead."
Yes, right? That's right. She did say that. That's right.
So the thing is, it was very. I saw the video.
Mm-hmm.
It was done in very poor taste. Basically, she brought up all these factors about who has more followers and who is he. And then she brought up the fact of, like, it kind of came off as though, like, nobody knows who this guy is, because she even asked the audience, how many people know Swervey or Swavey? If we're getting the guy's name wrong, we apologize.
We apologize.
But the bottom line is that was her biggest focus more than it was that he was killed. And then she brought to the point that he was killed. You know what I'm saying? Now, Wendy Williams has a history of, with the gossip thing. That's how Wendy Williams got on, got to the point she is today, talking about people, downing other people, starting rumors about people, actually lying on people. So I never been a fan of Wendy Williams, and this doesn't shock me that she would do something tasteless like this.
Shock jocks usually have a short lifespan. Howard Stern even evolved his show differently. Because what happens is, inevitably, when you're a shock jock, eventually what you say is no longer shocking. And so what you have to do is keep trying to tweak that, because it's what's expected now. And so that's where she's at now. She, you know, you expect this from Wendy Williams, so it's no longer shocking, and therefore it's, you know, that's why her bread and butter is usually the gossiping thing. Because other than that, you know, today, to be honest with you, there's really no shock value left in the world today. Nothing is shocking.
Coming from marriage now.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
She went after, what was the lady? What's the vegetarian, the vegan lady that she went after, talking about her husband?
Oh, this is it's on the Shy right now.
Yeah, she's on the Shy.
God, your name.
She's popping right now too. You know,
somebody write her name, please, in the.
Oh yeah, I can't think of her name. My wife follows her. My wife's a big fan. You know.
All right, now I'm gonna go. Keep on talking. I'm gonna try to find her. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of her name, but the thing is, she's popping. She got a seasoning out. She's doing well, and I think Wendy Williams made a comment about her. Tabitha Brown. There you go. Thank you, Norette.
See, we know who the smart one in the family is, Norette.
Hey, no argument, man. No argument.
No, but the thing is, like, she went after Tabitha Brown and her husband, right? And brought up some fact that she's taking care of her husband because now she's making all the money. But not realizing that her husband's actually a retired LAPD cop. He has a pension. He has his own foundation. And guess what? When they was busted and they was doing bad, he's the one that went out and got the job and supported the family.
Yeah.
Now, how do you go after? Why would you do that? Like, why are you hating on this lady because she went from, you know, doing really bad? This lady went from, they were doing so bad she had to go out and drive Uber.
Yeah.
She had to drive her Uber. Yo, I'm happy for the sister. I'm happy for the brother. That's what husband and wives that are down for each other do. They stick together. When they down, you band together. You don't break up. You don't fight. And that's what they did. They got together, and look, later on, she blew up. She's making mad money now.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah.
And he can raise his head up high, man. He was a platform. Yeah. He was a platform that allowed her to elevate. You know what I mean? And take them both with her. You know what I'm saying? They went there together throughout the whole process.
But Wendy is, Kelvin says, falling off because when she first got on television, she was cool. People saw like, oh, it's a different Wendy. Now that her things are going down and people are looking at other platforms and getting their news and getting their gossip from other things, people not tuning into her. Now she's back on that bad girl hate shit and being that what I call mean culture. Right. Everything with her is mean. Like, now that your shit is fucked, your marriage is failing, your kid, not to talk bad about her son, wound up being on drugs and messing up because she always talk about people that's getting high and all those other stuff and their kids. Now those chickens came on the roost with her. So now, you know,
Wendy Williams is a former drug addict herself.
I know, but I was just saying, but she talks so much
about Williams' brand is like a drug. Yeah. Kelvin alluded to it before. She had people were kind of numb to it now, just like a drug addict has to keep giving a bigger and greater and greater and greater dose, right, to get the same high. That's what we're at with Wendy Williams. She keeps going higher and higher and higher. She's got to be more and more extreme.
She's done now, like, you know, because
same idea.
Yeah, like the hate culture of that. Like, why would this young man, his body's barely cold, and you're making these kind of comments? Like, when do you have some kind of respect in you? Like the stuff she says, off-brand stuff. What she said about historical black colleges. What she said about the sister right there we were just talking about. When does it stop? When do you become like better on your reporting and stuff like that? But anyhow,
when you stop being miserable.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Anyhow, probably that's what the problem is. She's unhappy with herself.
Yeah. On a lighter note, our guy that we love it to death has a hot podcast called Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. Had an interview with De La Hoya. With Oscar De La Hoya stated that he would love to come back to fight, and one of the fights that he want to come back and fight Canelo Alvarez.
Ooh. I wanted to sit down somewhere and promote this. Fighting is a young man.
Jamie. Oh, sorry. For people don't know, Jamie, play the video for that. I forgot about that. Sorry about that, Jamie.
This is what's happening, okay? This might be my fighter juices flowing again, you know? And first of all, you inspired me, Mike, because what are you, 56, Mike?
Yeah,
55. You know, and looking as good as you did against Roy, who's a master, right? And just for coming back and doing, you inspired me. So I said, I want to do it too. But in back of my head, my demons are telling me, no, you got to do it, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, I know how that works.
You know what I'm saying?
I know how your subconscious makes a bitch out of you.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to do 2 of these fights, you know? I want to do... hold on. I want to do 2 of these fights, and then guess what? I want to do a real fight, a 12-round fight with either Floyd or Canelo.
I never heard no shit like that.
Floyd, who stays in the gym.
That motherfucker's crazy.
Let me give you the other thing too. Oscar De La Hoya, I don't know if y'all saw the whole interview, but he also said he used mushrooms. So I don't know if he was on those mushrooms right now.
Yeah, he's fucking with Mike. He's doing mushrooms, man.
You know what? I think, Derek, they are making these points. The boxing game is in trouble.
It's in trouble.
Yeah, it is.
The boxing
it's
game
majorly in trouble.
It's in trouble.
It is.
It is.
But it's like I put it on the promoters because the promoters are so busy looking at their own bag, they're not, and protecting their own bag, they're not making the fights that people want to see. All right, and it's allowing that lane for De La Hoya to come back, for Mike to come back, for Roy Jones to come back, because those are the big names, and they come back and they make big numbers. And we are, our generation, we grew up loving boxing. I don't know if the next generation likes boxing as much, as we did.
Boxing did it to themselves. When boxing started bringing it to $75 to watch pay-per-view and all that other kind of stuff, and the fights once a year. Come on, think about it. Let me finish. The way you grow sports, because I work in sports television. The way you grow sports, we're locked in. You're looking for the next generations, like cigarette companies. You want to get the next kids to start smoking a pack of cigarettes. You're not branded. You have nobody has any kind of character in boxing. They don't even know how to make their own character, make their own promote themselves to be something different. And you having these fights at $75. The average kid at home may say, "Man, Dad, let's pay for the $75 fight." My father will smack the shit out of me if I say we're gonna pay $75 to watch a fight. When them shits used to come on free on Channel 7.
Man, I don't believe the public is that price conscious when it comes to things that we want. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Jordans that go for $200 or whatever price that we got.
But Jordans give you instant gratification. A fight is a different thing.
All right, but what about when you go to the club? When you go to the club and people are popping bottles,
instant gratification again.
So and the fight doesn't get that.
The boxing, MMA is taking. I don't watch MMA. Rod's a big MMA fighter. MMA takes off big time because one thing the matches, like you said, agree with you, Derek. They do fight each other once. They fight the best. They happen more often, and then also you can catch MMA fights a lot on free TV.
But now you're talking about a product. We're not talking about you. I don't think the price is the start. I think if you put a good product out there, right, that people want to watch, that's engaging, then people will pay the money. And I put it on the promoters, and it's sort of like a death spiral. That's kind of like how we got there.
Not even on promoters.
You just said the same thing, like you know what I mean. Like the best are fighting the best. Boxing is back on free TV. They're trying to put good people in. I remember it came back. You started to see championship fights on free TV. We need to bring that back more. And I mean, I love boxing, bro. I love boxing, but everybody doesn't love it the way I love it, and I understand that, and I understand why. If you ask the average person who holds the belts in heavyweight championship, no one can say it right. Well, the problem is they got too many damn belts. You know what I mean? Look, you can stop.
If you tell somebody name the top 3 belts that's been around for years, I bet you nobody can name them. Us. I'm talking about the average person.
Yeah, he's right. They probably couldn't name them.
No, and it's not their job to name them either. It's not their job. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I in the past discussion, everybody knows I agree with kind of what D said. I agree, boxing is definitely dying. I see MMA moving forward. You see Conor McGregor basically drawing more seats than boxers and stuff like that. The thing is, the reason Mayweather is doing what he's doing is because he knows boxing is weak. That's why he can come back and make this type of money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
To get back to the subject about Dr. Oscar De La Hoya. First of all, I think Oscar De La Hoya is high on the show and he's just talking shit. Because whatever juices he got flowing, they better stop flowing. Because first of all, when Oscar De La Hoya was in his prime, he couldn't beat those guys. He couldn't beat. He fought Mayweather. What was like 07, and Mayweather put it on his ass. So and every time he had a championship fight, Oscar De La Hoya got beat. He could never break. He could never break over that certain level. You know what I'm saying? But what made Oscar De La Hoya great is because he actually was a sex symbol. You know what I'm saying? He was like the American, correct, golden boy. There you go, golden boy. So that he was able, he was doing the same thing back then. He had a big following, and he was able to put people, and he had a strong Mexican support, and he was able to put people in seats. You know what I'm saying? He lost to everybody, damn near everybody that lived somebody. The thing is, Oscar De La Hoya, as soon as he got to a championship fight, everybody whipped his ass. You know?
The sport needs some young stars. I mean,
what they need is, you got to understand, like, what really changed the game in boxing, and no one's going to be able to follow it, was Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was the biggest thing back in boxing because
the knockout punch.
Correct. We got to find somebody that's knocking people out.
And that's what people want to see.
Okay,
we have that.
Who do we have?
In the heavyweight division, you have Deontay Wilder, who has the highest knockout percentage of any heavyweight in history.
Okay,
so you have that already. You know,
and he has the weakest chin. Now he has the weakest chin,
and now he's got.
No.
Deontay Wilder is going to lose that fight. He's going to lose that fight. Absolutely.
Maybe not.
And I'll put money on it.
I'll put money on it too.
I'll put money on Deontay Wilder will lose that fight.
Maybe not, but we'll see. We'll see.
Against Fury, yeah.
Was that part 10?
No, 3, but he never beat him. Mike Tyson could never beat him. Mike Tyson gonna beat Holyfield, right?
That's right. Mike Tyson will never beat Holyfield.
Never could beat, and this guy will never beat Tyson Fury.
He would not beat Tyson Fury.
But it's a compelling. But what I'm saying is, you have a compelling heavyweight champion right now. A compelling matchup right now.
I'm going to tell you what I see in Deontay Wilder. Yes, Deontay Wilder hits hard. Anybody 6'8" is going to hit hard. That's number one. Okay. Number two, when you watch Deontay Wilder's fights and he knocks people out, he doesn't have that finesse. It's like wild slinging punches. It's not clean. It's not neat. It's not boxing. The bottom line is, when he gets you hurt, he just starts wailing on you.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's not a skilled boxer. And I'm not trying to downgrade.
But remember, what we're talking about is the casual. The casual wants to see rock'em sock'em robots. They want to see the head go flying off.
And another thing too, Derek, timing is everything in boxing. If you look at the guys that Mike Tyson was knocking out when he got to the championship, he was knocking out quality fighters.
Yeah.
Quality fighters. Deontay Wilder, the division is not like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, some dudes is knocking out he's fighting some dudes at the tomato cans. And so is what's the other guy in London?
Tyson either. Tyson ain't fighting nobody. Remember he said that?
Who?
Yeah.
Wilder. He said Tyson ain't fighting nobody. He said Tyson should not be a Hall of Famer.
We'll save it for the next show, because we can go all night. But I want to talk about some relationship. I want to talk about some relationship stuff. How important is age in a relationship, gentlemen?
I think it varies.
Right.
I agree. I think it's depends on the age gap. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it depends on the gender, because I think men can deal with younger women more so than the opposite.
Well, I kind of always notice this. When you see an older woman with a younger guy, 9 times out of 10 is sex-based. But when you see an older guy with a younger woman, it's money-based.
I think that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I see. So the thing is, like,
from a woman's point of view, from a woman's perspective.
Well, I can't give a woman's perspective.
Well, that's what I'm saying. From a man's perspective, when an older man is with a younger woman, from his perspective, what is it? Is it sex, or is it just, No,
usually that younger woman, when she's with the older man, usually that older man has money.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, I don't have no money.
Huh?
I don't have no money.
I said usually.
What do you think is too much? Like, as a man, if you were single at the age you are now, what's the youngest age you would date?
I'll be totally honest with you. The woman would have to be at least 45 to 50 with me. With me.
She too old for me. 45 too old for me. I'm on Elijah. I'm half my age for 7.
I'm going to tell you this, right?
I'm going to build through the draft.
I don't want a woman. I don't want a woman so young that I got to stand on the line with her to buy Jordans. I don't want
Right.
And the thing is, too, I don't want to look like nobody's father, and we together where they go, "Oh, hey, how you guys doing? Is this your father?" You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. So if she's that young, I don't want to. And plus, I got to have like a mental connection with her. I don't want to feel like I'm raising somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I already got kids.
It can't be too young. You know that it can't be too young. Right. But as far as what it would be, I don't know. I would have to see it. I don't have a type. I've never had a type in my life. So
I can't. I disagree on that. Older
men with younger women is an ego
she's not
stroke.
saying old. She's not saying all. She's not saying all.
But
she's older men with younger women.
No, it is an ego stroke.
No, it is. To some degree, it is because
trophy wife is real.
Correct. The guy wants arm candy. That's the guy he gets a younger wife. He's still pushing the Corvette or the Bentley with the freaking top off or whatever. And he's, he wants to still try to remain young. And to remain young, he wants a younger woman. You know what I'm saying? Right, so I believe what she's saying, there's some truth to it. It does play on the man's ego.
How about he wants to stay right there, titties?
Oh my
God. That's all he wants. He wants them to stay right there. We don't want them damn corner social titties.
No. Yo.
I just want to say,
damn, man.
I'm just saying.
I started to like this show, and we gonna lose this show.
It was right at the end, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, listen.
Okay, all right. So obviously, our producer, when we was at the corner social, there was a young lady dressed in some leopard.
She wasn't young. Oh, you're talking about the other lady? No, I thought.
Right, and obviously, there was something between she and our producer that I'm hearing, and she was younger. So, it just depends on a person's maturation.
There we go. Oh, Kelvin.
Kelvin, you talking about the girl at the bar? You talking about the girl that came over to the table?
I'm talking about Marmaduke.
Oh man. Listen, I don't care if she was younger than me or older than me. That one I wouldn't even kick it to. But no, I don't think it's an ego stroke. For some guys it is. I agree with you on that. Some guys that they like Lionel Richie might be a little ego stroke in there. But some guys like my lady's much younger than me now. But I don't even see the age in our relationship though.
Well, if you mentally connect, then guess what? You won't see the age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I got to have somebody that I can connect with up here. We got to be on the same mental level. And I'm not saying that all younger women can't be mature, but that's pretty much what your situation is. If you got somebody that's younger than you and you're mentally connecting, guess what? You're not going to see the age. You're right.
Yeah.
And that's throughout life, whether she's young at your age or old as you age together. Yeah.
These dudes ain't think about no mental connection. What they thinking about is the fact that 5'5" with dimples. Potential. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They can wait, like they said, if you got to buy her some Skittles or something like that, she's too young.
Yeah, too young.
Yeah, but I want no old chick. I got to watch her grandkids got to come over. You know what I'm saying? Got to rub a Ben Gay on her. I want none of that old shit.
D, you going to get us canceled. So, I mean, like at the last 10 minutes, you going to get us canceled.
I want them young and fun, baby.
But you got to be at the hang, though.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't stay up past 9 o'clock, dog, you can't be young.
I stay up all night, though. You know me, I don't go to bed forever, so I just can't.
You know something? He's telling the truth. Because this guy be sending me DMs at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yo, think you don't?
Yo, it be getting me in trouble. My wife be like, who the hell is that DMing me at 4 o'clock in the morning?
He'll send you something right now. You don't see his hand move. I mean, wireless.
I used to like you, Demond.
That's right. You just like me? You don't like me no more, baby girl? Come on now.
Ratings going down, brother.
I like you old ladies because y'all get me, discounts on rental cars and hotels. So I'm still just like y'all.
Yo, they get the AARP.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me tell you this story. I'm gonna tell you this really quickly. And this one I knew I was wrong. So many years ago, right? I'll tell you, I was 30.
That's too much information.
No, that's I do. I'm sorry for texting everybody. All my friends here. I'm sorry, ladies. I do send. Wow, I'm stay up till 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. So
I'm embarrassed by this.
The thing is, don't you keep us up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning?
Right.
Yo, I don't understand it. Like the light go off on my phone. I be like, I know that's D. Ding, ding.
I'm sorry, man. Kelvin, what you about to say to us, brother?
Right, this I'm embarrassed by this story, but this was.
Kelvin, come on, man.
I was 37 years old. Why every time my Wi-Fi is jacked?
Man. You got that Spirit
my
Airlines.
Wi-Fi let me down.
You got Spirit Airlines Wi-Fi.
All right, I'm sorry.
What did you say, Kelvin? Go ahead and say.
I was 37 years old, right? All right, I was 37 years old. And I was went out with this young lady, right? I met her. She was in the medical field, right? So we go out, and this how long ago it was. We were going to the Shark Bar, right?
Oh,
so I realized I didn't know how old she was, and so I was trying to say to myself, you can't ask a woman her age. So I said, I know what I'll do. I'm gonna ask her what year she graduated. This way, whatever year she graduated college, So this was like 2010 or 9 or whatever it was. So I'm like, hey, what year did you graduate? She was like, I graduated in 06. I'm like, oh, okay. What college? She's like, high school. I was like,
I was about to tell you that's not going to give you your real answer.
She graduated high school in 06, which means I was 37 and she was 21 years old. I was like, okay, I'm taking you back to your house right now.
You should have took it over to R. Kelly.
At least no, my friend was making fun of me, called me R. Kelvin.
Hey, 21. Hey, listen, man. That's 21. You can buy drinks, baby. That ain't too young.
I know in the red. I know I was wrong.
Yeah, you was wrong, man. You should have took the girl to the Shark Bar. You could have bought a Happy Meal or something.
Yo, all I gotta say, Kelvin, Jordans are expensive. That's what you're gonna be buying.
Yeah. But
that
Eddie,
was a long time ago.
Long time ago. Shark Bar ain't even around no more. That's how long ago. That was long.
I don't know how the Shark Bar went out, man.
We should bring that shit back.
He said we should bring it back.
That was one of the best spots ever. Anyhow, brothers, this was another great show, man. Had a lot of fun. Please follow, like, and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make all the comments that you want. If you mad at me for saying you old chicks are old, my bad. Anyhow, peace, y'all. Peace, y'all.